Good afternoon, everyone. A warm welcome to everyone present for the fifth edition of webinar series organized by SNAS. Today's webinar focuses on the commercial aspects of ship repairs, encompassing types of repair, estimation, specifications, and shipyard selection. Presented by our distinguished alumnus of the second batch, Mr. Alex Jacob Attappallil. Alex Sir began his professional journey at Mazagon Docks, and over the years, he has gained extensive experience working across the Middle East and Europe within the maritime industry. He now works as a maritime consultant and trainer. I invite Alex Jacob, sir, to share his valuable insights with us today.
PP. Oh, I can do it here, huh? Okay, fine. Good afternoon, students. I actually wanted to wish good afternoon to the faculty also. I don't think any of the faculty is present here.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to everyone present for the fifth edition of webinar series organized by SNAS.
Okay. Can you hear me? Am I loud and clear at the back? Okay. So, none of the faculties are here. Maybe somebody, maybe online also. I am not sure. Anyway, welcome to you all. And dear students, a very warm welcome and good afternoon to you. Today, I thinking of giving you an introduction about ship repair commercial. Before I before I come to that subject, introduction about me is given. See, as a naval arc, I've never been doing any designs ever in my career. Even in Mason Docks, I was attached to the projects. So my passion was always projects, project management, and things like that. Even, to be very honest with you, and to be very honest with you, only naval artisan calculations I've done is in my second year or third year where I did a hydrostatics and a stability booklet. Nothing more. Even my projects, I was managing my projects only. I had 4 of my best juniors as my subcontractors, so somehow I managed to get it done. I think many of you are also doing like that. Anyway, I have worked in different roles of in the maritime industry. Yeah, as a fleet technical superintendent, owners rep, then shipyards at various levels of from a junior level to senior management level, and class surveyor and a P&I surveyor also. P&I, I think you know, protection and indemnity survey. It's basically for the insurance service. First, I have to state that ship repair commercial is not much of a technical or engineering. It's basically art and logic. Why I say art and logic is there is no definitive formulas or definitive rules how you estimate, how you compose your costing and things like that. It depends from time to time, yard to yard, then how busy the yard and things like that. Excuse me. Yeah. Am I audible at the back now? Yeah, it's okay then. So, basically, in an engineering aspect or something, you say 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. Agreed? Here, I would say that, in ship repair commercial, it will be 2 plus 2, maybe 5 or 3. See, that's a different. I said, that's why I said it's an art, not and a logic. It's not a science. So you change it to the next slide. Okay, once again, I can change. Yeah. And your current syllabus, I think, do you have a paper in ship repairs? Or is it changed? We had a paper in ship repairs. I don't know. Do you have a paper in ship repairs? Anybody? Final years? No. Okay. We may have some paper in shipbuilding, shipyard practices, and I heard that you have got now something in ship recycling. Okay. So this part I explained already. This lecture basically, what I've prepared is basically from my memory, then my experience, and a few tools which I used during my time as an owners rep or in shipyards that you will come to know about later. This will be an interactive session of about 1.5 to 2 hours, depends on how you participate, and I don't mind even sitting a bit late also, whether if you are comfortable enough, unless you are getting bored with my lecture, fine. Because this is the first time I'm taking a class for students. See, now coming to ship repairs, it can be classified into reactive and proactive. Reactive is it's not planned. Proactive is it's planned. See, an accident occurs and run to fail. Accident means, I mean, like you don't know whether it's a accident is going to occur or not. You have a bike, you end up in an accident, that is there. Then run to fail. That means you allow a machine to fail. I mean, you use it, and it goes run to fail. And but again, it is not planned, or it's not. We don't know when the equipment will fail, and you may not be ready with all the spares and things like that. So this is reactive. Then proactive is routine maintenance. You do your services of the bike. Corrective means, okay, you have your wheel wobbling and you correct it. Then preventive. Preventive is again, I mean, like you expect something to go wrong and you prevent it. Condition based. You have your brake liners. See, I'm taking the example of bike because most of you use bike. So your brake liners are worn out. So it gets a kiki sound when you're applying the brakes. Then that is the condition based. Then predictive. Over the use of time, you predict that, okay, such and such equipment may fail at such and such time. So you have already predicted it and you do the necessary repairs for it. Then prescriptive. It's much more of an advance. It predicts and do the necessary, and it suggests, okay, what repairs to be done. Okay. Am I clear with? It's just a starting of that. Now, the commercial process of ship repair. This actually the main part of the lecture, and we shall see it step by step. See, one thing I have to tell you, you can interrupt me anytime during the lecture. There's no hassles. I mean, I would like to proceed further unless you get to know something what I'm trying to tell you. Okay. So the process of ship repair. First, the need for repair. Why the ship needs a repair? Then as a ship owner, you prepare a budget. Then from the budget, you prepare a repair specification. I'll come into the details. Then tendering and bidding. And you get the estimations and quotations from various facilities, shipyards or whatever it is. Finalizing the bids and contract. Okay. Now, carrying out of the repairs. Ship will arrive at the yard. Then there will be a kickoff meeting with the shipyard as well as the ship owners or the superintendent who is there. Then the repair starts. Then the repair starts means joint inspection as per the spec. See, you have already got a spec. I'll come to the spec later. Then from the spec, once the kickoff meeting is there will be some items will be deleted. Then that is a cancellation. Then some items will be deviated. I mean, like from the normal scope, it can get deviated, and there will be some additional to the spec. Then the superintendent can ask for an additional quotation. Then repairs in progress. How the repairs in progress? Once the ship arrives at this thing, okay, I said you have the kickoff meeting. Then you have got a specification already approved. I mean, or accepted by this thing. Then, as per the specification, there will be a joint inspection and walk around the ship. Like the chief engineer or the first engineer will take you around the machinery part of it. Then the chief officer uh, uh, and the second mate or whoever it is will take you through the deck and other aspects. Then there will be some additionals with respect to the inspections coming. So the additional is listed out. Then the superintendent might ask for an additional quotation. Then through the process of shipyarding, a smart ship repair superintendent will ask for total cost in real time. Like, okay, every third day or something, he will ask, okay, how much the total repair is going to cost him, because he has got a budget. He is answerable to his company. Then he has to get the right job done in a proper way. So that's it. Then further coming down, then once the repairs is almost getting through, you have the test, trials, and acceptance. Then once the repair is almost getting through, you will get the initial invoice. That initial invoice is the shipyard gives as per the specification. Then the additions and deletions and deviations, they will give an initial invoice. Then the superintendent will verify this invoice, draft invoice, and he will have a negotiation with the invoicer. Like, okay, this is not right, that's not right, or you have charged this thing additional and things like that. Then they will agree on a final repair cost. I mean, this is what the total cost of the repairs is going to be to the shipping companies. Then the shipyard gives the final invoice. Then once the final invoice is settled, and either the ship can leave the facilities, or the shipyard will insist, okay, you pay me the full amount, because if the owner is not known to the shipyard, they will insist that, okay, before the ship leaves, you have to settle the invoice. Then settling the invoice, okay, that is as per the terms and conditions that I will come later. You settle the invoice. Then there is warranty and retention money. See, you have done so many repairs. Like your car will have a warranty. Once you do have some repairs, your bike may have a warranty, or any equipment has a warranty, even if a repair is done, maybe 1 month, 2 months. Or in the case of ships, normally it's 6 months or whatever it is. And the final documentation. The final documentation will be basically all the reports, that the technical reports. Then these technical reports will go to the class for their updation of the certificates and things like that, of any condition of class or anything like that. So that is the final document, plus all the test certificates, whatever is done. You do a lot of tests, piping pressure test, then you have the lifeboat test and all those things. Okay. Now, ship repair specification simply refers as spec. It's called spec. Now, what is a ship repair specification? A comprehensive, detailed document that outlines all work required to be performed on the vessel during the repair period. That means during the repair period, they list out, I mean, like I'll come to the ship repair specification later. See, general services, then painting, hull preservation and painting, then the steel works, the mechanical works, the electrical works, and things like that. You specify it. And what is the purpose of this specification? To serve as a clear, legally binding contract between the ship owner operator and the shipyard. It eliminates ambiguity by specifying precisely what repairs, maintenance, and modifications are to be carried out, what materials are to be used, and what standards to be met. The specification is the foundation of obtaining competitive bids from various shipyards and ensures the final repair work aligns with the owner's expectation, budget, and regulatory obligations. I think it's very clear with you. The purpose of this ship repair specification is later on, like this is not there, that's not there, this is not mentioned in the quotation. Shipyard will say that this is not mentioned in the quotation, this is additional. The owner will say, no, this is included in the specification. So this sort of an ambiguity will not be there, and the settling of the final invoice will be much, much smoother. Now, I'll come into the detail of how a ship repair specification is prepared. First is the initial assessment and data collection. Like for anything, I mean, like want to have a project report done, you collect the data. Similarly, for a ship repair, you have the superintendent may visit the ship, or he will get the reports from the ship staff or whatever it is. That the initial assessment all around the ship, whatever is to be done, and the data is collected. Then the scope of work for each item is defined, like, okay, the steel repairs or whatever it is. Develop the technical specification, include Regulatory and classification requirements. The regulatory and classification requirements, I mean, regulations is basically the flag. You know what is a flag state? Anybody? Ship has got a flag state. Okay. I mean, flag state is the one where the ship is registered. That means the country and the city which the ship is registered. That's a flag state. Then you know what is a port state? Port state is something where the ship visits or goes in as a part of its commercial voyages. Then include regulatory and classification requirements, incorporate safety and environmental conditions. Now, I mean, like, okay, I mean, the green shipping and things like that is coming into effect much. I mean, you have a paper and ship recycling, and I think in that you have a list of hazardous material and things like that on the ship. Is it there as per the IMO rules and regulations? Ship recycling. So somebody did the paper in ship recycling here? Anybody? Come on, I mean, no answers are bad answers here. Hey, be a bit more proactive. I mean, I get bored taking this lecture otherwise. Okay. So incorporate safety and environmental conditions. The movie in the why it's not moving? Oh, okay. Now, okay. I said how the specification. Now I'm breaking down the specification, what it contains. First, for any specification, the vessel particulars are given, like all the physical dimensions, length, breadth, depth, draft, durability, NRT, all those things. Then the engines, main engines and things like that. And the principal other details. That's a ship that should be there in a good specification. Then detail work. For when you go to a shipyard, you require a lot of general services like docking, undocking, freshwater supply, all those things that will come into detail later. Then dry docking, hull preservation and painting. So usually during a dry docking, normally the hull preservation and painting is done. Otherwise, when the ship is afloat, you cannot do any of the underwater works. Okay. Then individual work scope, like you divide it into steel, piping, machinery, electrical, then electronics, navigations, and then other cosmetic repairs of the accommodation and things like that. Then general terms and conditions. This is also an important part of a ship repair specification. Defining the repair periods, like, okay, as per the specification, the owner's superintendent or whoever it is, he would have assumed or estimated that, okay, this repair should take so many days. Then the shipyard quotes for a number of days for it. Then penalty clauses. Suppose penalty clause is something where the ship gets delayed without completing the job. So you can have a penalty clause incorporated into the general terms and conditions. Invoice. So if the total invoice exceeds this much, okay, you will give me this much discount. Okay, you got a default payment, all those things. Then repairable settling. That's what I said. I mean, like the invoice payment and things like that. So this is the specification breakdown of the vessel. Then, oh, it's here. Okay. Ship repair specification, preparation and steps. Initial assessment and data collection, which I've already mentioned. You inspect the ship, okay, as a superintendent, the technical superintendent inspect the ships, okay, you find so many of these things. Then you have the class surveys reports during the class surveys. You know which are the class surveys normally? A ship for a class of term of 5 years. What are the surveys, your main surveys involved? Anybody? Class surveys. Annual survey? You heard about it? No. No, okay. I'll tell you, I mean, the ship has got annual survey, then an intermediate survey that is between the ship certificate is valid for how long? For what period? Come on, guys. I mean, anybody? You have your project started? Anyone of you? Finally, yes. Your projects have started? Anyone of you? Okay. What is your ship? What is the type of ship you are designing? Cable laying vessel. That's a very sophisticated one. Which class it is you are planning? DNV. So DNV issues a certificate once a ship is completed. How long is the certificate valid? Normal certificate, a class certificate or any statutory certificates is normally valid for 5 years. Now the harmonious survey is there where all the anniversary dates. Anniversary date is when the ship was commissioned and the first certificate was issued. That's the anniversary date. So on the 5th year on the anniversary day, the this thing, I mean, like final, that's, I mean, the class renewal survey or the special survey should be completed. In between, every year you have the annual surveys, and between second and the third, at the midpoint, you have an intermediate survey. So the intensity of the surveys, like annual is basically checking for the seaworthiness of the vessel. I mean, now you don't go into the detail. Then intermediate is a bit more stringent, and the special survey is okay. You can check anything and everything, and your ship is brought back into the perfect condition. Okay. So inspection, class survey reports, logbook entries. Logbook entries. Logbook entries is there's a deck logbook, there's an engine room logbook for a ship. Engine room is basically any machinery which is found faulty or it's log. I mean, like maintenance of the vessels, or this particular item is changed or things like that. The deck again, okay, some manholes, I mean, needs a gasket to be renewed, and some deck pipelines, fire lines getting broken or corroded and things like that. So that is the deck logbook entries. Reviewing historical data. See, historical data is the ship has a certain performance. I mean, like, for example, I tell you, all of you know about the bulk carrier. You know what is a bulk carrier? You know what is a Panamax bulk carrier? You know. No. Why it's called a Panamax bulk carrier? Because that is one which can pass through Panama Canal, and it's around 275 meters long with a dead weight of about 75,000 and a beam of about 31.2 and 18 point something is the draft. No, 18.1 is the depth and 12 meters is the draft, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. So this particular vessel, especially the bulk carriers, which I'm quite used to, you know, the tank orientation. Anybody has got bulk carrier as a project? Anybody? Hello? Anybody has got a bulk carrier as a project? Okay. Now, all the bulk carriers are twin hull as per the new IMO regulations. That means the side shell also should have a double hull. Earlier, like it's now about 20 years back, it was a single hull, the sides, double bottom is there. And the top side wing tanks, like you have among the hold, you have the top side wing tanks. That is one place where it used to get corroded very fast, because once in a while it gets ballasted, then it's deballasted, the humidity is there, and that is the one which used to get corroded. And that is actually checking the historical data, reviewing the historical data. Like, this is a place where you are likely to have more corrosion and things like that. Then the charter requirements. See, for example, any tanker which is chartered by Mobile or some oil majors, they have got very stringent rules, even much more higher than this thing. So regarding the safety and things like that, because one of them, if I remember correctly, is life jackets. Normally, you have life jackets for each and every person, and then 10% extra. There, they require 100% additional. Then again, the life rafts. You know what is a life raft? On a ship, it's a safety equipment, life raft. You know what is a life raft? Guys, I mean, better improve a little jig regarding the ship and such sort of things. Anyway, I'm not teasing you or anything, but life raft is not a lifeboat. When the ship gets in a danger or something, it's thrown into the water, it gets automatically inflated, and it can accommodate certain amount of people. So the number of life raft is depending upon the complements of the ship. So, and some oil majors say we want have 100% on either side. Like, if the crew is 30, you should have capacity of the life rafts for 100% here and there. They even say, oh, we need another 50% in the forward side also, like the life rafts, because the crew will be working on deck and some emergency it happens. So that is the charter requirement. Then the project requirements. Project requirements is basically, it's not for the normal ships. You heard of Jacob rigs? Anybody heard of Jacob rigs? Oil exploration, oil drilling. Okay, Jacob rigs. Then semi-submersible rigs. Then pipe lay barges. Somebody is having a cable lay barge. Anybody doing a pipe lay barge? No. Pipe lay. So pipe lay barge. How it is moored? Moor. How's the mooring done? You lay underwater piping. And the piping is just submerged underwater or just above the bottom level. You lay the pipe. There are two type of pipe lays, ZJ and J lay. I think you know about it. And what is your vessel? J lay or Z lay? S lay. Okay. Then it will have a stringer. Okay. In that, for every project requirement, like suppose you are working in a very harsh environment, if a cycling condition, that's in the east coast of Russia and towards Japan. The sea is rough, but you have got quite a lot of oil wells in that region. So to lay a pipe there, you need much more stronger mooring system. So your mooring means just have to be improved. Mooring capacities has to be improved. So in your pipe lay barge, you may have an 8-point mooring system, correct? And the tensioners is what capacity? Pipe tensioner. Tensioner. You have something called a pipe tensioner. Huh? No, the pipe, see, you lay the pipe, you weld it, then you pull it back to tighten it. So the tensioner has got what capacity? How many tons pull? 1 ton. Are you sure? Go, please check it up again, because I had one of my ships, I mean, like when I was a superintendent, was a pipe lay barge. Anyway, I'm not listening. Okay, leave it. So that's the project requirement. Then IMO rules and regulations. Like the IMO rules and regulations change very frequently. In fact, from January 2025, there was a lot of amendments. So all these amendments has to be considered. Then consulting with stakeholders. Okay, again, the stakeholders do certain requirements. Okay. Third. This is not, oh, sorry. Okay. Then again, the repairs are classified into mandatory and urgent. Then a routine maintenance, upgrade and modification, general and cosmetic repairs, incorporate safety and environment consideration and protocol. This is given in the priority of the ascending order, like mandatory and urgent requirements. So that gives the first priority. Routine maintenance, next one. Upgrades and modification, the third one. It's all again depends on the budget. General cosmetic repairs, the accommodation, that's a cosmetic repairs. I mean, again, they incorporate safety and environmental consideration and protocols. See, safety cannot be compromised, but again, if you have some safety equipments, if it can cater for the other part, you can get away with it as per the flag state requirement. Then now to file 2. Yeah, here we'll have a run through the, I think your interaction is a little not much, I mean, so I think I'll finish the this thing, I mean, lecture than earlier. Okay, now go to the first page. Okay, see, this is the dry docking and repairs of MV Accuracy. It's a bulker. So I'm giving you the general terms and conditions. First, you will go with the definitions. Owner, you know who's our owner? That's who owns the ship, who manages the ship. That's it, nothing more to be there. Then contractor or the shipyard means the entity who's going to handle the repair job. Then vessel means the ship. Then special survey means, as I told you, the Every 5 years, you have the special survey or class renewal survey. That is a special survey. That is normally a dry docking and repairs. Major repairs is associated with the special survey because you have the underwater work and things like the tail shaft work and all. Then contract price means they agreed some payable for services subject to the verification of extras, changes, and unforeseen. The total was it. That's okay, the contract price. Then the scope of work. This is actually for the basic terms and conditions. That is for a ship repair, as I said, I mean, like there should not be ambiguities and there should be a proper written and agreed contractual terms and conditions. The contractor shall perform all work. I mean, see, I don't think I have to go through all these things. I mean, what I can do is, after this lecture, I can share this repair specification. You can have a glance through it. See, it's a scope of work. See, all necessary work to be contracted executed work in accordance with the classification society rules, flag state requirements, international conventions. You are used to SOLAS, MARPOL, ILO, ISM, ISPS? Sure? SOLAS. Eh? MARPOL. Okay, what is ILO? Okay, then ISM. It's okay. It's a safety management system that's introduced about 25, 30 years back. Then ISPS, International Ship and Port Security, not safety, security. All this have got audits and certificates. Any additional work beyond the original must be approved in writing by the owner before commencement. See, like in the course of the time, the shipyard may see some additional work to be done. The owner may suggest something, but the price of that should be agreed. Otherwise, the shipyard, if they charge exorbitantly, finally the superintendent is not going to agree. Then finally it end up in a wrong note. Then contract price and payment terms. See the currencies. Normally, international ship repairs is quoted in US dollars. I mean, we don't like US to that extent these days, but still, US currency is the one which is much more prevailing. Maybe very soon it may change, but whatever it is, the normal for international ship repair, this thing, US dollar is the one which is a quoted currency, as detailed in the repair specification and further quoted by the shipyard and agreed by the owner. Then the payment schedule. Normally, this is just a fictitious one which I said. 20% upon arrival and docking, then 40% upon 50% completion of the agreed work, 30% upon redelivery once the ship is delivered, 10% within 30 days after acceptance of class flag certification. The class and the flag, they may scrutinize all these things and then they will give the new certificates. All invoices must be accompanied and supporting documents and materials use records. Then warranty. Contract of warranty is all work. Warranty period. You will state the period, and then defect arise from misuse of this thing or normal wear are excluded. Delay and liquidated damages. See, if it is delayed, I told about the penalty clause. This is what it is mentioned here. Like any delay is attributed to the contract exceeding the force majeure. You know what is a force majeure? War, flood. This is something which we cannot foresee. So in that case, other than that case, I mean, like that's called it's a part of the clause in this thing. Then, if the delay exceeds 70 days beyond the scheduled completion, the owner reserves right to terminate the contract and withdraw the vessel at the contractor's cost. Sure. Then I mentioned here the force majeure, what it is. I mean, penalty clause. The failure to deliver the vessel in a seaworthy condition upon a redelivery results in payment of penalty 5%. Normally it's 5%. Then they will fix a total this thing, and if the ship is getting delayed, as per the clause, general terms and condition, even the superintendent can take away the vessel without paying the money also. That's there. Then class rejection. All the work which requires a class approval has to be approved. Then I'm talking about force majeure. Neither party shall be liable for delay or non-performance caused by the event beyond reasonable control. And that's what I said. I mean, natural disaster, flood, storm, earthquakes, fire, explosion, accident at the yard, war, terrorism, and things like that. Then strikes or industrial dispute, not inside the yard, from outside influence, the political this thing and things like that. Okay, then affected party will not see if the shipyard is getting affected. Normally, the shipyard is the one which gets affected. Normally, they have to give a notice period. Okay, this is a problem. We are going to delay the vessel because it's on such time. They have to give a notice. So, such and such a notice is when something happens like that, strike happens from the outside with the political influence, they have to give a notice. That notice is, I said, for 48 hours. It can be 24 hours. It can be 72 hours, whatever it is. If the force majeure persists beyond 30 days, either party may terminate the contract without liability. See, it's neither the shipyard's fault nor the owner's fault. So, I mean, nothing is happening with the vessel, so the owner can take away the vessels. Insurance and risk. Contractor shall maintain ships repairs liability insurance, workers' compensation insurance, third-party liability cover. The vessel shall remain at the owner's risk except when loss damage is due to the contractor negligence or willful misconduct. Okay. I think I will have to rush through. Health, safety, and environment. Contractor shall comply with all applicable HSE laws and then subcontracting. This is an important one. The contractor shall not subcontract any major portion of the work without the owner's prior written approval. It is like, see, in a shipyard. I mean, somebody of you have been to Cochin shipyard and a visit there, or you had trainings in different shipyards. How many of you have been in the production side? See, okay, is all the work in the shipyard done by the shipyard staff or shipyard workmen? Contractors are there. So, if any major of the specified work is carried out by the contractor directly, it has to get the approval of the owners or the superintendent, who is the technical superintendent who is acting. Okay, then legal and arbitration. This is the contract. I mean, can I go further forward? Any questions? You just stop me there and then come up with your questions. Then this contract is governed by the laws of the country. So normally it's a UK law, but that's where the ship arbitration and things like that happen. Any dispute or controversy or claim arising of or in connection with this contract, including its formation, validity, termination, shall be settled by the arbitration according to the rules of the Arbitration Institute. That's London arbitrators are there. Then other one I don't remember anyway. So you have to. This all things will be specified in the contract, which will be mutually agreeable to the owner as well as the shipyard. The seat of arbitration, that's where it is going to take place. It's will be specified, and the language that also. Then termination. Owner may terminate the contract for the cause if the contractor fails to proceed diligently with the works, fails to meet the agreed stand, becomes insolvent. Insolvent, you know what it is. Company gets, broker. That's it. Then the contractor may terminate the owner if the contractor may contractor is the shipyard, may terminate if the owner fails to pay the undisputed agreed sum within 30 days of the due date. For example, the ship comes to the shipyard and there is some clause said, okay, 20% of the money to be paid when the ship arrives. If he fails and the ship repair is proceeding for another 30, 40 days sometimes, he has to pay this thing. You can withdraw this miscellaneous. Entire agreement. This contract considers the whole agreement and supersedes any prior discussions as a normal clause. Confidentiality, both parties to maintain the confidentiality. Okay, now coming to the main part. All the notices must be written in and sent by registered mail or English. There should not be, it should be recorded. Now, this is the ship which we are going to repair. Length overall, breadth, depth, DWT, GRT. This is basically for a Panamax bulk carrier. The flag is Panama, class is LR, year of built is 2006. Why it took, this is actually an ambiguous one. There's no ship like that. My project ship's name was Emi, so that's why I put when I was a student here, so that's why I put it. But it was not a bulker. It was a container ship. Anyway, the year of built I put as 2006 is when the contract is signed on 2006. The twin hull, double hull was not mandatory. Single hull would have been there, and they had specified a date of 2011 Jan or something, where all further new ships to be of the same. But if the single hull bulk carrier is flying, and if it's in a seaworthy condition, it can operate. That is there. Builders ABC vessel description: a single hull bulk carrier with 6 holds, 6 hatches with forecastle deck, upright wing deck, and hopper and double water. Machineries: main engine, MAN B&W 5L 60 MEC. What do you understand by this? 5L. We have selected some main engines, no? So for your propulsion. Yes. What is your main engine? Not that. Okay. I'll tell you. This is a MAN and B&W engine. 5L means inline, 5 cylinders. That's basically basic concept of it. Okay. I won't go any further. Then it has got all main engines has got turbochargers. That's the specification of that. Then diesel generators. You are doing a project ship. How many generators you have? Main generators? I mean, diesel generator, auxiliary engines for the power. Huh? Who said? 4. Good. That's a reasonable good answer. 4, 3. It's usually like that. 4 is good. But you need high capacity electricity because you have to operate your mooring engines, isn't it? Okay, good. Then any other generator is there other than these 4 generators? What about an emergency generator? Suppose the power fails. You have an emergency generator also. Okay. Then diesel generators, oil fire boilers. All ships normally have a boiler, oil fire boiler, as well as an exhaust gas boiler. Exhaust gas is from the main engine or the other engines. The exhaust gas heats up the this thing and then uses for domestic purpose. Then steering gear. That's a make of the steering gear. Propeller, 4-bladed keyless solid. What do you mean by keyless propeller? Any idea? It is shrunk fit or press fit. There is no key holding it. Okay. Then rudder, double-bladed seamless semi-spade mariner type. Double spade. What does it mean by that? It's actually, it has got only one support to the ship's hull. It's just a hanging one. Then tail shaft. Okay, that's fine. Let's go. Stern tube, electric power. It's 450 volts, 60 hertz. Anchor chain. U3, 78 mm, 330 mm. Any idea what it is? U3 is the grade. 78 mm is the dia of the link. Then 330 mm is the total length of the link. Okay. Hull areas. These are all a part of the specification. First you describe the ship, then hull areas. See, flat bottom, so much area. Vertical bottom, boot topping. What do you mean by boot topping? Any idea? See, flat bottom, it's a flat bottom of the ship. Vertical bottom area. Okay, that's the sides that's mentioned here like that. What is the boot topping area? See, between your load water line and the light water line, this thing draft moves up and down. The painting, this is basically for the painting scheme. This actually, the paint specification is different where it's moving up and down. I mean, like where there is, at times there is air, then at times there is water. That's why it is. Then the top sides, that's above the load water line. Cargo holds area, CGS area, general services. So when a vessel comes to the yard, berthing, unberthing, see, all this has to be, the price has to be given by the yard to the shipping company or ship owners or whoever it is. Berthing, unberthing within the normal working hours. That means berthing, the ship is coming alongside. So you have, for berthing, you need the mooring, and the riggers, other people who will handle the ropes and things like that. That's why mooring and roping. Wharfage. What do you mean by wharfage? Most of the ship repair yard has got waterfront. So the ship has to be secured in way of the waterfront, and the wharfage charges, like whether if you are doing the repair at the wharf or afloat repairs or whatever it is, you have the wharfage charges. And normally it's carried per length of the vessel. Normally, docking and undocking, you have a docking and undocking charges. I mean, again, normally a ship has got how many docking plans? Any idea? 1, 2, 3, 4. Normally it will have 2 docking plans because at the end of a term of 5 years, you dock with certain dock blocks. Next one, you prefer to dock it in a different block arrangement. Why? Because those areas where the blocks are there, you couldn't paint, scrape, or paint it. So the next docking, at least that area gets cleared up. Okay, that's why it will have. Then wharfage per day, docking and docking. First day in the dock, including that's a rate. Then second day and the following days in the dry dock per day. See, I'm rushing through it. If you have got any doubts, clearance, just come up and ask me. Tugboats per boat per. Why you need a tugboat? To handle the vessel near the sea because it's still coming dead. Pilot services. Pilot. See, in that harbor, okay, you need a pilot because he is the one who is more aware of the streams and things like that. Supply of riggers. Riggers is basically handling the one who is handling the rope. Electrical power connection, disconnection per connection. See, once the ship is in the dock or is in the dry dock, you need shore power connection. That's what it. Why you need shore power connection? To have your all the equipments running because your generators may be closed, your other power generating system may be closed, and you need electric power connection, disconnection. Then seawater cooling supplies. Suppose one generator may be run. So when the generator is running, you need seawater cooling. So a separate line is given for that particular one. Then again, seawater cooling supply line per day per hose. Then seawater cooling connection, disconnection, freshwater connection, disconnection. It goes like that. Freshwater supply. You need fresh water to the ship because your freshwater generator on the ship may not be working. So then compressed air connection discussion because compressed air is required for their internal use and things like that. But again, the ship repair yard also reads component. That is separate. This is exclusive for the ship's use. Then galley refuse. What is that? Your galley is working. I mean, the ship's crew have to eat. Otherwise, they will have to be put up in a hotel or the separate mess will be arranged for them. So when the galley is in use, it will have garbages. So that has to be emptied and things like that. Crane for owners use. The owners will have so many of the provisions and other things or equipments, their spares and other things coming. So they require the yard crane to put it on it. So there's a fire watchman per day. Like there are a lot of hot work happening. So you got a fire watchman from the ship side. Fire line connection, disconnection. Then maintaining fire line pressure. Normally a fire line should be maintained at 7 bar pressure. Okay. So maintaining that. Then telephone services on board per connection per line per impulse. This is not there these days because nobody uses a land phone now. Everybody has got the mobile and the internet and things like that. So that's gas-free certificate on arrival. What do you mean by gas-free certificate? Anybody? See, you do a hot work. It's a closed tank. You may have some explosive gases developed inside that tank. So the tank has to be ventilated, emptied, and checked for gas-free, and the certificate has to be issued. It's mandatory. So that the gas and again the whole ship has to be checked for this gas-free when you do any of the hot work. Then gangway alongside the berth. To access the ship, you need a gangway. Then water ballast supply pattern. When the ship is leaving, the yard needs sufficient ballast to the sea. Cleaning the dock upon repairs and the sea. Once the dock is clean, then specific costs or any other standard services related to work specified herein. Okay. So these are the general services. When a ship arrives in a yard, these are the general services. Then almost every time when the ship is dry docked, once in 5 years, anchor chains. You lower the anchor chains, lowered and ranged. Range means it's spread out, then it's maybe blasted. Chains hosing down, chains are hosed down, marking restored. I mean, the chains are marked as per the links, so many fathoms and things like that. Link. Chain links gauged. I mean, you have a vernier caliper. With respect to that, it's gauged. And if any of the thing of the size is rusted and then it's beyond the tolerable limit, you have to change the length. Okay. And you know that the chain will have so many lengths, and will have a specific shack, not the normal one, the welded one. It's called a kender shack. That's an openable shack. So you disconnect that and then change it. Then Loose studs to be welded per stud. You know what is a stud there? See, in between the chain has got a link like this, then it has got a cross them. This get loose. So that is the one because that's the one which get on the this thing. I mean, like on the winch gears. That's the one which is going to run. So it gets worn out, and that is to be rewelded onto the this thing. Okay. And cable to be changed end to end. See, from the anchor end, it will be restored back to the, see, at times, I mean, not necessarily that every time you do, because the full length of anchor will never be put in when you are anchoring the vessel. So from the anchor chain end, it is connected back to the chain locker, then this is connected back. There's a drain plugs removal and repeat. All the tanks do have drain plugs, though the drain plugs removal and refitted, then hose down and things like that. Then Seach's grids dismantled. Seachers are there. You know what is a Seachers? Okay. Anyway, for the main engine cooling, you have to take seawater. Okay. Then for the ballasting, you have to take seawater. Then for the firefighting, you have to take seawater. So these are actually the openings on the hull. There is high C sections and low C sections. So these are the openings on the hull. I mean, which allows water to be sucked in by the pumps and things like that. Okay. Then ship side valves to be opened, examined, replaced, closed with new packing. So ship side valves, I mean, like the suction valves, then the sanitary discharge and treated sewage treatment plant discharge valves. It's basically flap valves. You know, at least some different type of valves, globe valve, gate valve, flap valve. Okay, leave it. Anyway, zinc anodes, you know, what is a zinc anode? Tell me, come on. I mean, see, somebody answer. Yeah, I mean, see, there's no point in me go on blabbering like this and then see, you know, hull protection, cathodic action, you know. Similarly, instead of the ship's hull getting rusted to that extent, you fix anodes. There's basically aluminum anodes, where aluminum is more electro-conductive than steel. So instead of the steel getting rusted of the galvanic action, the aluminum gets worn out. So that is then different anodes to supply. Then anodes is basically fitted onto the rudder as well as on the bilges. Then propeller polishing, it's to certain standards. ISO class 1. It means it's a smooth finish. Then earlier ones, the propellers after polishing, it's a in situ polishing. Yeah? I mean, like you are not withdrawing the propeller. You put a coat of fish oil, but that is discarded now. You have got enough and more. I mean, like chemical oils, which is much more effective than the tail shaft wear down measurements to be recorded, including staging and all necessary actions. Tail shaft, you know, at least. You know, no, tail shaft. Shaft from the engine, how the propeller is driven. It's through a shaft. So from the engine, you may have one intermediate shaft, two intermediate shaft, then a tail shaft. That's the final one, which is coming out of the hull. Okay. And the propeller is connected to that. So tail shaft wear down to be recorded and staging necessary actions. Then stern tube. You know what is a stern tube? Stern tube is the tube which the shaft passes. Then tail shaft withdrawal. Normally, the tail shaft is withdrawn for inspections and things like that in a 5-year cycle or depending on the periodicity of this thing, I mean, surveys. And it's normally, for big ships, it is withdrawn inside. For small ships, it is withdrawn outside, small boats and things like that. Yeah. That's so all this. Then removal of access plate for spindles and rebuilding after completion. This is for the radar. I said this is a semi-balanced rotor for this particular one. You need to open only the top of this thing, spindle, gauging areas, and then you put your feeler gauges. You know what is a feeler gauge? Okay, that's where you measure the clearances of things like that. Okay, then now that is the general services. Then hull surface preparation and painting. Earlier you have seen the hull areas are given: bottom, sides, boot topping, top sides, and things like that. So all the ship's hull, outer hull normally gets painted. And it's not necessarily that you should blast the full thing and get it painted. Then the paint owner supply specific prices to be given in meters squared. So this here, the prices is given. First, what you have to do is when the ship reaches the dock, a high pressure washing is done. Then a hard scraping. You will have barnacles attached onto the ship. So hard scraping is done to remove that. Then for the surface preparation, now earlier you had grid blasting. Now you have water blasting. It's called hydroblasting. And it's all done to different standards. Hydroblasting, I mean, like that is WJ, it's called water jet. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4 is the lowest one, and 1 is the highest one. 1 is almost a bare metal. Then grid blasting. Grid blasting is the reverse. SA1 is the lowest, and SA2, 2.53 is basically the bare metal. Hosing down with fresh water. Then once the blasting is done, you hose down with fresh water. Touch up, not for hydroblasting. Hydroblasting, you don't do it. Hydroblasting, you normally do it with fresh water. Or maybe, I mean, the first run will be with seawater, then the second run will be with fresh water. Then touch-up coat. Touch-up means, see, in a blasting where the ship's surface is prepared, you do only spot blasting, like where it's corroded, and it is being. Are you following? Everybody is so blank. I mean, I don't know. See, you interrupt me. I mean, I don't mind you asking questions here. I mean, there's no point in me. See, only one guy is mundi hilata hai, then other guys are sitting. I mean, are you following my lecture or not? Or am I going very fast? Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll give these notes later on to you guys. You take copies and read through it. Any doubts, you can come back to me. Okay. Then I'll rush through it. Blasting and painting areas shall be confirmed as per specialist recommendation. So there will be always a paint specialist inspecting the vessel because he is the one who is supplying the paints. He has to give the guarantee. So the main marine paint suppliers are Jordan, Berger, and International. This is the ones which I have come across. Then whole preparation. Okay, again, same things, cleaning, assessing, all those blah, blah, blah. And I'll just rush through. Then steel work. Here, actually, I have not mentioned any specific steel work. Basically, for any repair, the superintendent will ask for advise steel capacity, renewal capacity based on a 24-hour basis. The yard, when this vessel comes to the yard, what is the maximum possible steel renewal per day? That's what it is. Unit price for plates as well as internals at various locations. See, for example, you have in way of fuel oil tanks, I mean, bottom plating renewal. You have got the side shell renewal in way of cargo holds and things like that. So at various locations per kg or whatever it is. Then bottom shell, side shell, deck, tanks, accommodation. That's what. Then piping. At least, can somebody say what are the piping systems in a vessel? At least 2, 3 you can say. Anybody? You have got your projects now. Somebody from the final years. You have got some piping system for your ship. Seawater cooling, ballast, these are all seawater lines. Firefighting, then fuel oil lines, lube oil lines. These are the basic fire line systems. Okay. Then seawater, freshwater, fuel oil, and various things. So again, pipe, it has got different dias. You agree? Mostly we are using steel pipes as of now. Till, I mean, very soon it will be changed to polyurethane or some this thing. I mean, high funda this non-ferrous pipes very soon, because working with that will be much easier, and it's getting approved also for accommodations and all. It's already approved. Only for the high pressure lines, the seawater suction and all, it is said to be proved out. So steel pipe, basically the pipes used in the vessel are Schedule 40, Schedule 80. You know what is a schedule? It's a certain standard for the thickness, wall thickness. See, for a 2 mm pipe, 2-inch dia pipe, or 50 mm dia pipe, or a 75 mm dia pipe, if you say Schedule 40, the wall thickness is not the same. But it's a certain standard schedules. Then Schedule 80 is slightly of a higher study. It's like the microns. You know what is a micron? So many microns thickness and things like that, you say, no? Similarly, something like that. So then a pipe system will have bends, flanges, then reducers, all those things. So that is to be quoted. Then again, the locations for the renewal, engine room, tanks, decks, accommodation, then pressure testing. Once normally any pipe system is done, other than just the gravity drains, you do a pressure testing. Then machinery works. As I said, I mean, like normally all the spares are on a supply. Then you specify the repair of the main engines. It's like may not be the whole thing. And as per the new class surveys, you do a planned maintenance system for the machinery, like during the life cycle of the engine. See, as the owner's representative, you may have to change the cylinder liners, piston rings, or things like that at a periodic level. That's all done periodically, and the class credits it towards the special survey programs. Okay. Then power generation. That's I said, 3 diesel generators, then boilers, air systems, pumps, different type of pumps. See, seawater cooling pump, freshwater cooling pump. See, all these things why I listed is I'm not going to give you any uh, particular repair specification. If I have to explain, it takes much time. At least you will know these are the items in the pumps which is coming. When I give you these notes later, at least you can run through it. Fuel oil system. See, fuel oil purifiers, Lubot, then fuel oil heaters, viscosity controllers, and things like that. Cooling water, freshwater systems, steering controls, deck machinery, ballast and environmental systems, ballast management and treatment. You know, there's a ship will have a sewage treatment plant. You have seen it. Then oily water separator. Have you heard about it? See, ship engine room and other places will have oil. You cannot just pump out the oil like that. You will have to separate out the oil from it. It's basically a centrifuge type of thing. And the particles per million should be below 15 or something like that to pump it out to the open sea. Otherwise, it will be retained on board. Okay. Incinerator. You know what is an incinerator? I don't have to explain it. It's something which you burn out the trash. Safety and emergency. CO2 fire extinguishing system, foam and portable fire fighting equipments, lifeboat, engines and debit, emergency generator, switchboard. Okay. I'm just rushing through it. Power generations, main diesel thing, and then power distribution, switchboard, emergency system, transformer thing, power consumers, electric motors, lighting system, water services. In this particular connection, I would like to tell one thing. For an electrical work, every time when the vessel is in the dock, you will do a mega test. Why you do a mega test? It is basically to check the insulating capacity of the particular cables, equipments, and things like that. Then you do a switchboard cleaning, main as well as auxiliary switchboard cleaning, emergency switchboard cleaning. Then navigational equipments. It's radars and communication system, compass and lighting, all those GMDSs and things like that. Normally, this is done by specialized technicians. No shipyard will do this sort of work. There are radio technicians for it, and they are the ones who do it. And even as a class surveyor, when I used to attend this safety, what do you call it? Safety equipment, safety radio surveys. I just witness it, but there is a technician from the specific, I mean, Radio Holland or things like that, where you do all this electronics navigation equipments like that. They come and check it, and then, okay, I witness that, and then I certify the certificates. Accommodation, again, lifeboat, accommodation, safety and accommodation, lifeboats, life rafts, fire and safety. All this life rafts has to be serviced once in 5 years or once in 2 years. Life raft, as I told you, it's a inflatable one. Once it's put in water, because of its action, it will get inflated and it will have provisions done. Even the lifeboats, the ship's lifeboat will have provisions on it, and at every time it has to be replenished. Okay, galley and laundry equipments. I'm just rushing through it. This is not a movie. Eh? Right, it's finished. Okay, this is basically the ship repair specification. Now you have got the specification, you have got the quotation. Do you need a 5-minute break? Or should I continue? Finish it off? Continue? Okay. Now, then go to the next slide. On my slides, you close this, go to the next slide. Metrics. That is okay. This is a very interesting one. I mean, if you listen carefully, it's like that. See, you are getting quotation as a owner's rep. You are getting quotations from 3 shipyards. What you do is you initially estimate, okay, this work as per your specification, what you are prepared as an owner, it is going to cost this much. That is, if you see column C, I said budget. See, logistics, it is, I put 100. It's not in the quotation. Nothing is there in the quotation as logistics. Why it is logistics? Your ship is at some port. Your shipyard is at another place. You need some fuel to reach there and other incidental expenses to reach there. That is logistics. Okay. Then off-hire. The ship is on a charter. So the shipyard take 30 days to finish. One shipyard take 30 days to finish the job. Another shipyard take for 40 days to finish the job. Then the charges, I mean, will be different because charter charges are the same for the whichever company is charging. So 30 days is less than 45 days. That is the off-hire charges. Reputation, that's also important. Some yards, I mean, like, see, as a superintendent, I had my dry dockings in Sambavang, Dubai dry docks, and Shanghai. Out of that, any day I would prefer Sambavang. Maybe because I worked in Dubai dry docks as a project manager, but still I prefer Sambavang. That's my personal relationship with the ship managers or the management or whatever it is. So that is a reputation of the yard. Then again, you check up with other companies and or your past experience with the reputation of the, because timely completion of the job, quality of the job, then availability of spares and things like that. Singapore is an excellent place. Dubai is also not bad these days. Then general service. Now it is coming to, so I'm breaking up the total repair budget by this is a column C is by the this thing, I mean, by the ship owner or the superintendent or whatever it is. Go down, general services. Then that is the total amount budget or estimated for the general service by the superintendent. Then now preservation and coating amount, steel repairs this much, piping this much. This is all as per the quotations. I mean, as per the specifications, the superintendent has put the prices. Mechanical, go down. Electrical, electronics and navigation, then accommodation, miscellaneous. Then bill settlement. See, bill settlement, I put another this thing is, you get some credit period. You are gaining some bank interest on it. So you pay later, at least for the 15 period later, you pay somebody. I mean, you are getting an interest for 15 days. That is the bill settlement, this thing. Then the total of all these things, that is in row 17, you see 10 lakhs, 95,000, something like that. Forget about the currency of it, but this is basically estimated in US dollars. When you see that, then I'm giving a weighted average for each and every item. Go to the column D. Column D is C, that is everything in that particular line. Accommodation is costing 60,000 and it's divided by the total. Will give you the weighted average and it's in percentage. So all these things, weighted average coming put together, you get 100 as per the owner's calculations. Now, 3 different shipyards are quoting for all the items. I mean, like, go up again, please. The table, yeah. See, again, go up further. I want 4. See, yeah. Why I said logistics is, see, the owner's budget is about 10,000. Then the logistics, 50,000. This shipyard is further away than the this thing. I mean, the shipping company or the superintendent anticipated. So the fuel charges to reach that. That is at 15,000 rupees. Off-hire charges. This particular shipyard is taking more time than what the superintendent anticipated. That is the off-hire charges. Then reputation. Okay, this got a reasonable good reputation, so I gave him 50,000. Then the general services exactly as per the quotations. Now, Shipyard 2, similarly, shipyard 3, similarly. Then go up again. Okay. Then all go up again. Then you see column H. Column H is C by E. C by E, you understood? The shipyard 1. That is again column for shipyard 1. C by column C by column E. C by E. E is, yeah. C is the budget by the superintendent. E is by the this thing, I mean, by the shipyard, and weighted average into weighted average is D. That's calculated by shipyard. Then you will get a this thing. I mean, what is that evaluation score for that particular event. Similarly, you run through it down, go down. Each one is scored like that. Do you understand? Each one is run like this. It's an Excel table. Go down, go down. See now, you see the total quotations, estimated one, different yards, and individually as per the weighted average. Shipyard 1 got a score of 95.83. Another one got a score of 93 point something, and another one 92. So in this aspect, shipyard 1 has got a better score. So as a superintendent, I will go for that particular shipyard. Understood? If you change any of the figures in E, F, or G, these figures are going to change. You try one, yeah. I mean, like the bill settlement. Instead of 75,000 on the shipyard 1, you put it 100,000. See the figure change? 94, 93, 92. It was 95 earlier. So this was an easy matrix for me to choose a shipyard. Again, this is, as I said, ship repair commercial is not a science, it's an art. You have got preferences. You know certain yards, the reputations, the friendship, and things like that. I may not go for I may not go for such sort of a yard. Depends on my experience. Even if Sambhavi has scored a little higher than Asri, Asri, a shipyard in Bahrain, I would definitely go for Sambhavi from my experience. Okay, so this finishes the ship selection matrix. We'll have a break. I need to have a break. We can take a break for 5-7 minutes and get back. Shall we start? Yeah, let everybody. There are vacant seats here. I mean, rather than me gunning it down with my throat in a bad shape, people can come a little forward. Or somebody would prefer to be backbenchers, as usual. I used to be like that. Come a bit closer. I mean, like there are empty seats in the forward side. Actually, this lecture I chose because even when I was passing out, I didn't know knew anything head and tail of ship repair commercial side. I thought this will give you an introduction. At least you will be equipped a little more better when you go to a shipyard, especially when you are in the production side. Then, from my experience all over the years, hardly 50% of the naval arts, I mean, basically people who are working in India, they will start with the design. Who is going into the Middle East? Mostly, I mean, like many of you guys are landing in the Middle East. At least 50% of your class are in the Middle East, if I'm not mistaken, or at least 30%, for sure. None of them are in the design. None of them are in the design. I mean, mostly everybody is in, and mostly in ship repairs, and they are very few. I mean, like, and there is no absolute design happening in those shipyards, like even dry docks. They are basically a ship repair yard or a conversion yard. New building is very few there, and there is no original designs happening there. Then Albawadi Dam in. I mean, it's basically you have got quite a lot of your seniors, and most of them are project managers, project engineers, and things like that. Then other small companies, whatever is there. Then as a class surveyor, you don't need that much of a high fund on naval architecture to start as a class surveyor. I mean, you should know the rules, regulations, the latest of the IMO amendments and things like that. And this practical experience. As a ship and service surveyor, I mean, like not a new buildings, I was a ship and service surveyor. Every day I used to come across something new. I mean, like that's where I actually learned about the ship and the ship systems. I didn't know head and tail of engines. To be very honest, I mean, and in fact, my boss, I mean, the operations manager fired me one day. I mean, what sort of a surveyor you are? You don't know anything about it. I said, I mean, I never had a chance. Then I myself, after the office, I used to go to a workshop, ship repair, a main engine workshop, a big one. And I used to sit down and had to work with my hands. I mean, like with the supervisors or even the workers there and learned. I mean, that's how I picked up a few things. For example, the clearances, the pistons, the gaskets, the main bearings, the crankshaft bearings, the thrust blocks, and things like that. All these things I came to know only through them. Uh, can you guys at the back come a bit forward? There are a lot of seats here. Yeah, I mean, I don't like backbenchers here because I was a backbencher and I had suffered for it. Come forward, please. There are nice cushioned seats here. Yeah, I mean, you can relax and sit. This next portion which I'm going to take, it's a short one, but it's reasonably interesting. Go to the fourth one. Open it up. I don't regret this. Is it this one? No, then I missed something. Towards this thing. I mean, go to my slides. This I'll take later. I mean, sorry, I missed out all of it. No. Go down. That's I finished. Next. Oh, that's okay. Estimations. Estimations part I'll come little later. Now, economics of ship repair. This is reasonably little interesting. This section focuses purely on the commercial and financial aspects of the process, tying back to the costing and pricing. Okay. Now, wait. For any item, what is the price? Can you define price? It is the actual cost plus profit. Okay. Then what is cost? Cost is labor plus material plus overhead. Okay. Any additions to it? Think of it. Your manager's salary or your boss's salary. Okay. Now we'll come to man-hour. What is a man-hour in ship repair commercial terms? Is a unit of work representing the amount one person can do in 1 hour. See, suppose a welder is welding. In 1 hour, how much welding he can do? See, different positions, I mean, downhand, uphill, overhead, then all the three positions together, and then that's 1G. I mean, if you come across welding, it's called 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, and 6G. 6G is like all the three X, Y, Z axes you do the welding. Then it's in an inclined plane also. Then 6GR, there's another welding qualification where you have a retainer ring because your movement of the hand is restricted. Nee, I just mentioned that. Okay. Now, man-hour rate, that's a very important thing. This man-hour rate is the one which you use to do your estimations. It is the cost 1 man-hour of the labor. That is employees direct CTC. You know what is CTC? Cost to the company. That employees cost to the company. It includes wages, insurance, and other benefits. Wages is insurance, is annual leave, is casual leaves. All this are being paid. Then other benefits, I mean, like, okay, children's education, if the company pays, then you leave travel allowances and things. All these things put together for one particular employee, the company incurs certain amount of this thing in an year. So it also includes the pro rata of all indirect non-productive expenses. Like this CTC is the expenses of the company for that employee. Then for the man-hour rate, you include non-productive expenses, the supervision. The supervisor is not going to weld or do the fit up. Then the management, your manager sitting in nice air-conditioned this thing, managing the whole business. His salary is also have to be accounted for, and that should be also a part of this thing. Then rent of your premises, the power, and so many things extra. Man-hour rate computation. The total hours in a year is, imagine the worker works for about 200 days a year. Into 8 hours per day, that is 1,600 hours an average worker works a year. CTC, total cost of the company is so many lakhs, I said. I mean, it's a salary. And so per man hour, 3,000 divided by 1,600, the labor, the company is spending 187,000.5. It's in rupees. This is I calculated in rupees for him. And that's what his contribution from the money is being paid. But again, the overheads and other things has to be loaded onto this man hour when you are using this man hour to compute the labor. So man hour rate is 1,875.5 into 2.1. The 2.1, see the 1.1 this thing, I mean loading factor I added to this is because of this management and other expenses, the rent and things like that. So in this particular case of a laborer, a welder or a fabricator or something, his man-hour rate is 395 rupees per hour. So the loading factor I gave you from my experience, this is the loading factor. A large size shipyard where the overheads are higher, the loading factor is from 1 to 1.7. That means that is you have X as the CTC per hour of the worker, then you multiply it by 2.7. The additional loading factor is 1.7, then it becomes 2.7. Then a medium-sized shipyard is from 0.5 to 1. Then a small-sized shipyard is 0.25 to 6. Why this is? Because a large company, it needs a bigger infrastructure, bigger equipments, bigger these things. But again, the cost, the price may be, there may not be much difference, but there will be different. A quality shipyard will charge you much more than this thing. But why this is? They have got better equipments, they have got better way of doing things, and that's how it is. It's different. So the loading factor is, that's the one which I gave. The large size shipyard is 1 to 1.7, medium size is 0.5 to 1, and small size shipyard. This purely from my experience. There is no what do you call hard and fast rule for it. And normally for a man-hour rate, it's a very complicated job, and normally a cost account does it. And of course, I mean, even though I'm not a cost account, to certain extent I have done it. That's why I could very clearly tell you this thing. That's why I said in the end what is said: price, time, quality varies with respect to different yards. That's why the rates are different. It's finished? Okay. Now go to the fourth one. Now from this, I'll go to a sample estimation of a steel repairs. I'll give you the full repair specification of a particular job, and then how you go about the estimation. No, that is in Word, I think, or that's on my fourth file. Yeah, that's fine. This is a steel renewal in way of topside wing tank number 3 port. I said we are referring to the ship repair of a bulk carrier. So in the specification, it's described like this: shell plating 16 among grade AH36. You know what is the grade AH36? Grade A, grade D, steel plates. Okay. I mean, that's the shipbuilding quality steel. Then internals. You know, longitudinals are there. Then that's the primary one. Or the secondary one? Transverses. Or it can be either way. Transverse can be the primary one. The longitudinal can be the secondary one. So the internals, the longitudinals are 250 into 12 BP. What is BP? Bulk plate. Have you seen the, do you know the profile bulk plate? You know, what's this? Yeah. See, you know, angles. I mean, you use as your internals here. How do you see? For a plate, you give shifting's to the plate. Longitudinals. You know, angles. Seal angles. 50 into 50 into 5 angle. Then how you are doing your design? I mean, like, how do you do your midship section design, structural design? Hey, anybody in the fourth year, secondary, you are doing your project, isn't it? And you do a midship section design. Yeah. So in the midship section, your primary member is longitudinal or transverse. Huh? Huh? Longitudinal. So what sort of a profile you have chosen for your midship section, at your midship section? On the side. Angle, bulk plate. You know what is a bulk plate? You know it. Okay. You are in which year? Second year. No, you are yet to come across. You are excused. So The longitudinal is a bulb plate. If I had a chalk and this thing, I would have drawn and shown you how the profile looks like. So the longitudinal here is a bulb plate, and the transversus is a built-up T section. That is 400 into 12 web, 150 into 16 flat bar. It's a T section. Okay. Now, approximate total steel renewal is 2 tons of steel in this area. All welding as per approved drawings. Then test. 2 numbers radiography in way of T junction. What is a T junction? On the shell, you will have plate joining. So you will have one butt weld and one seam weld joining. That's a T junction. Then when you will have a cross junction, and that is called the cross junction of the shell. So 100% of the shell welding ultrasonic this thing testing UT. You know what is UT? Ultrasonic testing of welding? Okay. Yeah, at least you have seen in some shipyards. Then 50% of the internal welding MPI, because it's basically a fillet weld, and you do a magnetic particle or a dye penetration test. Then once the tank is, all the steel work is done, all the boundaries are welded, you do an air test. It is normally, for a topside wing tank, it is 1.1 bar. That is, normal atmospheric pressure is 1 bar, and you increase it by another 0.1 bar to find any leaks. And then how do you test the leaks? It's basically with soap solutions. That's the simplest thing. I mean, wherever you find it's likely to leak, you spray the soap solution, the bubbles will come. That's it. Okay. The painting and coating to be reinstated, the paint's owner supply. The tank, when you do the hot work, I mean, you will have paint disturbed or the clay, this thing. Then access and preparative work, gas spraying and gas-free certificate. The tank was closed for quite a long time. Poisonous gas would have developed. So you have to ventilate the tank and it has to be gas-free. Then gas-free certificate. So a chemist has to go with his meters and then say that, okay, it's safe for man entry. That's a gas-free certificate. Then scaffolding and staging. Scaffolding and staging is an access. See, you have a side shell renewal. How will you reach the side shell? Either you have to build something, some tower or something from the dock bottom, or you have something hanging from the deck to reach that spot. So that is scaffolding and staging. Here we are considering hanging staging on the shell and scaffolding from inside. So from the deck, because this is a topside wing tank, it's closer to the deck. You don't have to build up the whole tower of about 20 meters or something. It can be hung from the deck and you have a scaffolding from the deck. Then scaffolding from inside the tank. That is, the tank also it's like a triangular cross-sectional tank. Normally the bulk area wing tanks, topside wing tanks. So you need scaffolding to reach the side. I mean, how you build it up is as per the tank orientation. Then tank cleaning. See, definitely this tank, as I said, I mean, like it will have a lot of rust, mud, muck, and things like that. It has to be cleaned. So for the quotation, the specification says 2 tons of sludge and rust to be removed and disposed. Inspection by the class surveyor and vessel superintendent. Then once the work is completed, these are the final documentation to be given to the owners or the ship superintendent. That is, one is the gas-free certificates wherever it was employed. Welder's qualification. See, any Tom, Dick, and Harry cannot do the welding. You need to be an expert and you have to have a certificate, especially for the main joints and things like that, ship side hull and things like that welding. You need a qualified welder. And there is something called welder procedure, welding procedure qualification, welder qualification, and procedure qualification. There are 3 different types. And I mean, since you're not much aware of these things, I don't want to go further into it. So welder's qualification, material certificate, the steel, if it's patent grade A36, it will have certain properties. Like in your material science paper, you have done a elongation test from the universal testing machine. You have a sample and then you stretch a piece of wire or whatever it is and you reach a breaking point and you say this is the tensile strength of the material, don't you? Finally, yes. Can you say something? You have done a material testing test, I mean, yeah, and on a universal testing machine? You have here. So you stretch a piece of rod or whatever it is, and it breaks. So what is the result? What do you get? It's a tensile strength what you're checking. Okay. Similarly, these materials will have different properties like hardness testing, tensile, all this tests. So the test certificate, that's basically from the mill certificate will be there. Then for a sample, you send it to the lab for testing also, if it's a major the six. Then non-destructive testing reports. So what are the non-destructive testing? I mean, like you give a X-ray of the well to find any flaws are there. Then I told you, you do a magnetic particle test, you do a dye penetration test, then an ultrasound or whatever it is. That's it. Final work completion report. That's one of the major things. I mean, like from the from the final work completion certificate, you develop the invoice to do the costing. Or understand? So now I'm coming to the costing part. 16 plate for this particular one, it's about 11.5 meters squared, and the weight of that is 14.70. So here I take the specific gravity for my estimations. Instead of 7.85, I take it as 8. Okay, that's it. Then bulk plate, 250 into 16, so many running meters. Total weight is coming to about 410 kgs. T sections, 400 into 12 plus 150 into 16, 240 kgs. So normally for a bulk carrier, in way of the wing tanks, the ratio of steel plating to internals is 2 is to 1 or 3 is to 1, something in that range. So that's why you can see that it's coming around that much. Then total weight is 2,120 kilograms at the rate. This is a steel price. Current steel price in India is 75,000 rupees per ton. So the total material cost is 159,000. So much. I mean, it's 159,000. Then the labor. Total manpower for 220 tons kgs, fabricators and welders. See, it is like it's 2.2 tons. For a ship repairs, normally fabricators and welders per ton, especially in such sort of a wing tank, it takes about 350 man hours. So 350 man hours, 472, and my man hour rate is 375, and this is the labor, 278.250. Then access work. So this is basically for the steel which I am doing. The consumables and other things are also accounted in that particular one. Okay. Then scaffolding and staging, shell hanging 2 levels. Like, I mean, the plate width is about 2 meters or 3 meters or whatever it is. So you need the top side and the bottom. So you need 2 levels of staging. That's 2 levels, 15 meters long, which is hung from the deck. So that it's a lump sum price of 50,000. Inside tank, 135 square meters at 150 per square meter, 13,500. The total for the scaffolding is 65,000. Then tank cleaning, 2 tons of sludge disposal, 40,000. This also I've got standard rates as per my quotation. I mean, specification you have seen that sludge removal and other, you have to quote per ton of removal and things like that. So that's it. Then documentation, like you need some estimators or something like that to do the estimation documentation and other certificates and things like that. That is 30,000. Then miscellaneous, unhidden charges. I mean, like you cannot say. So take it as an average of about 10% or whatever it is. That's 50,000. So the total cost is 62,102, 621,250. Then that's a cost to the yard. Then you have to give a price for your quotation. That's your profit. You had about 15% of the profit. You got 7,114,377. Then the quoted price, you round it off to 714,500. So this is your quoted price for this particular steel renewal. See, this is not an accurate one. This is from a sample or from some scenario I've taken it. When you're working in a yard, you will get exactly the price of the steel from their stock, this thing and things like that. Then you will have established manpower rates there, because this is just, I put welders and fabricators as one at one rate. But again, you have a different rate for welder, you may have a different rate for fabricator, you may have a different rate for a rigger. Definitely you will have a different rate for a rigger. Then tank cleaner, which is not of a, that's of a high skill one, you'll have a lower rate and things like that. So all these things are put together, and how the, with the man hours, how this is how you do the estimation. So are you clear about the steel estimation? Are you clear? Sure. I will ask you some questions on this now. Can I? Okay, leave it. I don't want to trouble you much. Go to the next one. This is a pipe repair specification. This I've not done the estimation. I wish the final years, if you have the time, if you have the inclination, you can try it out. I can guide it to you here, and later on, I mean, discuss between yourself, and once in a while, once a while, I mean, when I'm coming here, or you can send it across as a groups. This thing also I don't mind. Then I will can verify it, how whether you have gone wrong or how we are doing the estimation. So this is the specification system: main seawater suction pipe from sea chest to main seawater from engine room suction pump. So pipe to renew, seamless, 8-inch, schedule 40, 10.5 meter long, flanges 4 numbers, 90-degree long radius bends, long radius elbows 2 numbers, 45-degree elbows 2 numbers, T's 8 inches into 8 inches into 4 inches, 1 number, concentric reducer 1, strainer basket 8, 1 set, flexible connection expansion joint 1 number, 8 inches, stainless steel rubber expansion, yeah, that's a stainless steel rubber expansion joint. Then valves to overall. In this line, there will be a valve, globe valve 8 inches. This need not be replaced, it has to be overall only. 1 number check valve, 8 numbers. One, no, it's a check valve is basically a flap type of valve. New gasket, fasteners, studs, nuts, pipe supports, saddles, clamps, hanger rods, 10 to 12 supports. This is basically the initial items to be renewed and repaired. Then surface protection. See, any seawater line normally, it is hot dip galvanized. It's a steel pipe from the mill. It will have rust scales or things like that. You clean it up, then you hot dip galvanize. Any idea what is galvanizing? Okay, I'll explain it to you. These seawater lines get corroded very fast. So hot dip galvanizing mean it's put in a bath of molten zinc. Zinc is the one which doesn't get rusted. And before putting it in the hot bath, this zinc bath, you have to have the surface prepared. It's like acid treatment, pickling, and things like that, removing all impurities from the surface and inside. So that's how it is done. And you dip it in and take it out, then drain it out and bake it out, and it gets a proper coating. Then surface protection. All hot work area. See, again, even though you get this spools galvanized and things like that after fabrication from the workshop, you're bringing it to them. You may have to do some site welding. That welding has to be properly surface prepared, and then it has to be coated properly. Then and painted as per the engine room pipe specification. Then access and auxiliary works. Gas fitting certificate, definitely. I mean, like you're working in the engine room, there are oily bilges and things like that. Scaffolding and staging as applicable. One thing I forgot about is remove the floor plates. The engine room will have a floor plate, and these pipes are below that. So we'll have to remove and refit the floor plates. Engine room cleaning, because engine room bilges will have oily water and things like that. You will have to clean it. Then oily bilges sludge cleaning. I mean, like once you remove the oil, oily water, then you will have thick sludges, then you will have to scoop it out and scrape it out. Hot work permit, I mean, then a permit to work and safety, that is there. Then test. DP and MBI for as applicable for all welders, 2 number RT. RT is what? Radiography. That's a X-ray test. Hydrostatic pressure test to 1.5 design working pressure. Normally for a seawater line, you are testing it up to 10 bar. Then commissioning. Finally, you'll have to connect everything and see that the line is working properly. Deliver it to the owner class. Material test certificate, that is a pipe certificate and things like that. Welder certificate, WPS, welding procedure, this thing, and then PQR, procedure qualification record. Then NDT reports, particle test, MPI, RT, UT, and accept records. Hydrostatic test as per the reports, the test which we have done. As-built pipe drawings. See, this is required, for the records. So this is the specification of a pipe repair in the engine room. You will have to do the costing now. Similarly, like what we have done for the this thing, steel. You take the material cost, you calculate the labor, then you calculate for the access work, and all the access work plus the additional miscellaneous work like the certificates and things like that. Then you get your cost, add the percentage of profit you want to add to it, and that is your quoted price. Again, when you said one thing I would like to mention you, when you said about the long radius bend, you don't get a standard long radius bend like that. It is called a mitre joint. Uh, Maybe if I have to explain it, it takes time. I think it's 4 o'clock now. It's almost 2 hours of lecture, what I've been doing. I hope you are a little better off regarding ship repair commercial than what you started with. I don't know. You have to say that. Now, here my lecture or the session closes, and we'll have a question answer session now. I'll give you 2 minutes break and discuss between yourselves or whatever it is, then come up with your questions. If I know the answer, I will answer you. Otherwise, I'll say sorry. I'll get back and get back to you later. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. Wishing you all the best. Anyway, I'll be associated with you in uh, uh, many things here because I am involved with your sports and games to some extent. And maybe I think you have got your Nauga coming up now, then your Astra, then your Kurshetra. Okay, all the best, do well, and I hope compared to last year, this year will come with flying colors. Thank you very much. Now, I will give you 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Discuss between yourself. If you have got any questions, you can come up, please. Yeah, it's you have got any questions, you can ask me. I mean, I expect some of the senior batches who are listening very keenly from the backbench may ask questions because I excuse this front side as the second years because they are getting used to this terminologies only. So, any questions? Hi, guys. I mean, I've been gunning my throat for 2 hours. I mean, there are a lot of things which I also didn't know. I was just bullshitting, also, maybe. I don't know. So, you guys could come up with some questions. Question me. Hi. Yeah, come up. Who's? Oh, yeah. Raise your question. Yeah. Good.
So, as you said in the presentation, you said like bigger shipyards have a higher loading factor than smaller shipyards, but wouldn't the bigger shipyards have better technology and better equipment? So the manpower will be reduced, right, sir?
Yes.
So the price will be reduced than
See,
smaller
the
shipyards.
manpower will be. This is only a sample which I gave you. In fact, I have seen the loading factor even 3 in other shipyards. I mean, like the worker, if the workers' cost as per the CTC is X, final the cost per man hour is almost 4x. I've seen that because that is because of the technologies they use, the quality they have, and the speed at which they complete the work. All these three factors. Again, in the small workshop, you need only one supervisor and 10 welders. The supervisor's salary may be only about twice that of the worker. So how much loading? See, the loading comes only 10 people divided by is 2x by the 10. So it will be how much? 1.2. That's it. So 0.2 is the loading factor. Anything else? Yeah. Sit. Sit down and ask questions.
So while building the ships, there are certain protocols followed, but while repairing, is this strictly checked?
Now, what is that for?
While building the ships,
Yeah.
the protocols are strictly followed by classes and societies. But during repairing, are these checked accordingly? Like if the after the repairing,
Yes.
are these still?
Yes, of course. See, when you build a ship, there's a total specification. The ship is designed as per the class, rules and regulations, IMO rules and regulations. Over the period of time, IMO would have amended the rules for a better this thing, especially the environment, this hazardous material, things like that, which came into picture. There are few ships, I mean, like they have to strip the whole accommodation area or even the whole engine insulation because they had used this thing, I mean, asbestos, which is banned now. So that sort of changes are happening. Definitely, the class, all the main part, I mean, where the ship safety, no, there will be no compromise on the safety of the ship vessel. And wherever there is a welding of the hull or anything, repair on the hull or anything like that, there will be proper checking of that. Absolutely. There is no compromise. Again, it depends on the owner and depends on the class. See, any of the IACs won't leave like that. Any of the small time classes, I mean, like it's a survival also. It's like they may have a blind eye to it because that's why some owners, I mean, they change the class because they find it very difficult to maintain the class in one particular class because their requirements are much more stringent and their fees are also much higher. Got my point?
So one more question. You sir said that you prefer some shipyards even though the cost is more. So do companies or ship owners actually practice this, like they prefer a certain yard over the other even though the cost is higher than the one?
If you are a company with 50 ships, see, you take your ships all around the globe for repairs. See, my experience, because I have experience with 3 shipyards. One was Sembawang, one was Dubai Dry Docks, and one was Shanghai. Among all the shipyards, my personal preference is Sembawang. Maybe because they treated me better or they were much more friendlier. maybe they would, I mean, there are so many factors involved. Given a choice, if Shanghai and Sambavang are more or less of the same price and the time period, and rest of the facilities more or less the same, I would go to Sambavang. It's an individual choice. Maybe another superintendent of the same company might prefer somewhere else. That's see, I told you that see, there is no definitive things in ship repair commercial. It's purely an art and a logic.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Sir, in your experience, which is the most tedious task you have ever faced? Is it the calculation parts or the management parts?
See, it depends on how you enjoy it. Yeah. See, as a junior surveyor, junior naval architect, I started my career with Mason dogs. I had actually crawled through 400 double bottom of Godavari class frigates, which sir will be able to tell you. I mean, like I was handling the berth and I was handling dry survey and water testing, and especially with the naval overseers, naval construction overseers. I mean, and those days I was young, I'm much more fitter and trimmer or whatever it is, and daring also, I would say. And I would crawl through a 400 double bottom where the lightning hole is hardly 250 wide. I could hardly pass through it. I did that. See, depends on how you enjoy a certain work. Yeah? I will never say that I enjoyed all phases of my work. No, never. You have very adjusting bosses. You have very kind bosses. You have very strict bosses. This all matters a lot in your professional career. And then you have difficult subordinates. That's also there. Then you get screwed up with your bosses when you don't finish the work. So difficult task, as what you said. I mean, see, it depends on individual to individual also. Your difficult task may not be a difficult task for me. Similarly, your easy task may be a difficult task for me. See, individual to individual. Anybody else? I'm winding it up. Oh, yeah, come on.
Greetings, sir.
Yeah.
So, sir, in shipyards, how is the idle time managed? Like, if there is a delay in the what will you say, obtaining of parts or any machinery is required for building of the ship, or if the surveyors or any officials who are required for surveying the ship are late, so how is this idle time managed? Because every minute or hour counts at the shipyard.
See, that's true. Again, the first part I will say, whose responsibility it is. If the shipyard is delayed in getting some equipment, the owner will not allow him to jack up the price or things like that. Again, if the ship is delayed beyond the certain agreed repair period, the shipyard is going to have penalty clauses. They may even pay 10% of the total repair cost. That's one part. Again, if the owner is delayed in getting some spares which he is supposed to supply, shipyard will charge him additional. That charge him in additional, he will deduct the amount from his total invoice. That's how it's managed. Then again, the surveyor. See, myself, I was a class surveyor also with Bureau Veritas. You cannot afford to delay your surveys. Absolutely no. There was once upon a time when the surveyors were the masters. Not anymore. See, there are about 11 IAX classes. 11, I think, or 7. I'm not very sure now. See, if not you, as an owner, I will go to some other class here. If we are not doing my job on time. Definitely, yes. So, there was a time when surveyors have the final say. No, not anymore. But again, surveyors has a final say. I mean, to be very honest with you, as a surveyor, especially for a ship-in service, if you really want to delay a ship, even if in the best of the seaworthy condition, you can do it. As a class surveyor, I can board the ship of my class. If I can say that there's an occasional survey, it looks like, and I can board the ship and ask for the certificates, I can find some fault in it. Definitely, yes. Then it's a question of how you compromise safety towards the other aspects. That's how a surveyor can manage. Anything? Yeah.
Hello, sir. I'm Akhil from the 40th batch. Sir, I had a doubt regarding what will happen. I mean, if there are any conflicts between ship owners and shipyard regarding the extent of the use of NDTs, because NDTs are more, reliable to detect any damages,
Yeah.
but it may be financially costly.
Yeah, I'll answer that. NDT means, see, you have got that is radiography. Then you have got ultrasonic testing. Then you have got MPI. You have got DP. If any of the things fails, the shipyard has to repair it free of cost of this thing. Then, as per the rules, if you have checked the rules for loads of any of the IAX class, if one RT fails, you have to repair it, and you put, instead of one, you have to take another 2 or 3 additional. That is not costing. I mean, that will not be priced to the ship owner because it's a fault from the shipyard. So shipyard has to bear that costs, and it is a class requirement. Got it clear? I think you are not clear.
Little bit, sir. Yes.
You are clear?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions?
Come on, you can ask any questions. No questions are stupid questions here. I mean, in fact, I also learn from your questions here. That's why, I mean, I enjoy. In fact, this is the first time I'm addressing a student in a teacher's mode. I mean, like, to be very honest. And I really enjoyed it, even though half of you were sleeping. I don't know. Half of you are playing with your mobiles. I've noticed that. Then a few of you were chit-chatting at the back. It all matters. As in student life, it's all allowable. Doesn't matter.
So myself Yedu from batch 48. In my internship period, I got an opportunity to visit CKSRU, the Kolkata Ship Repair Facility.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a vessel where initial quotation was given for hull repair and stuff, but then after that, there was a re-quotation. A re-quotation was given for extra hull repair.
Yeah. Okay.
But then how will the shipyard basically manage that? Because extra time is to be given, extra effort is to be given.
I understood your question. Are you through with your question? Anything more?
No.
Okay. This, when any additional work is there, the price is agreed between the attending superintendent or the shipping company and the shipyard. And if it requires additional time, that is also negotiated and agreed upon. Absolutely, yes. Because, see, you have got 10 tons of renewal on final inspection, and after walkthrough or the additional another 10 tons more come. Naturally, I mean, if you have got to finish it in 10 days' time, you are not going to finish it in 10 days' time. So you require additional days, and it's allowed. Otherwise, the shipyard owner should not give such sort of additional things. And few shipyards, especially shipyards like Dubai Dry Docks, if their the docks are busy, like they have got the biggest graving dock in the whole of this thing, I think. And at a time, they are actually berthing 10 now, 12 ships, small ships at a time, because it can cater for the biggest ULCC afloat. I mean, it was Jarre Viking those days. I mean, I don't know which one is now. And so when it's undocked, all these vessels has to be undocked. So if it doesn't fit in their time schedule, they may not take it, or they will say, okay, we'll have another docking where the additional docking charges is charged to the owner. Okay.
So as an addition, when negotiations of price come into play, because extra dry docking time is to be given, and based on what you said, if another vessel is scheduled to be in that spot.
See, that's what I said. If an additional job is so extensive, where it requires additional time in the quotation for the additional job, normally as a superintendent, I will ask for a quotation, additional for the additional job. If it is minor as per the standard, what is that, general services, I may not ask for a question because this is going to be extra as per the rates what is given. Otherwise, definitely I'll ask for an additional consideration. And if it has got an implication for additional time, I'll definitely ask for it. And we have to mutually agree upon. Either the shipyard will do the job with respect to the allotted time, or as a superintendent, if I cannot allot the time, I may not be able to do the job. It's a compromise. Anyway, if it is something to compromise on the safety of the nothing can be compromised on the safety of the ship. So if you have to do it, you have to do it. And in this case, shipyard has got a better say. If it's a big shipyard or a major shipyard.
Any questions left?
I'm going to wind up if you don't have any questions. Come on, yeah. Any questions are not stupid questions, as I told you. I mean, like, you guys and girls are very smart. I know that, but don't have don't get held back. I mean, come up with your questions. You have some questions, vultures? What is that? Alvarez, you are discussing with something, so I thought you would have some questions. Okay, guys, winding up. I mean, in this case, so as I said, you have got the copy of all my notes here in your this thing. The piping specification, what I did, I explained you how to go about it. Even if you don't know the exact rate, have some rates put. I mean, as I said, you can have the maneuver rate done as per what I've shown you, and you can go ahead and do an estimation if you feel like it will be worthwhile. I mean, like, and whenever I'm coming next, I mean, I come here regularly. I mean, or you can fix up a time. I can come and have a small session with you in checking up that estimation. I'm fine with that. And to you, sir, I mean, I think this student should be given much more orientation toward the actual practical side of it, because even as a student, when I was passing out, I didn't know not even 5% of what they know, but still, when I am across the table on the other side, I mean, on the practical side, they have to know something bit more, because I find that they are not aware of the periodicity of service. I mean, like a certificate validity, then few other things. I mean, the pipes, schedules, and things like that. Then grades of steel. I mean, these are something which is really important. Anyway, I'm not discouraging you all. I mean, now, I mean, compared to us, when I was studying, we didn't have the access to any of the net facilities or this thing, ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever it is. Here, the information is at your fingertips. I mean, try to pick up something. That's what I have to say. And that will serve you better when you're out in the field in a job. Okay. Thank you very much. Shall I wind up? And now I wish you all the best for your upcoming sports events, because I'm a sports lover. I was involved with your sports. Like, as I said, now you have got your Nauga coming, then you have got your Astra coming, then Kurukshetra also. Do the best.
Now, before concluding, we would like to present a certificate of gratitude to Alex sir for honoring this event and delivering a wonderful talk. I invite Satish Babu sir for the same. Thank you, sir. My sincere gratitude to all the members of Dostas from all over the world for the exceptional commitment to the department. I would also like to thank every faculty member and student who has put a sincere effort to attend this webinar and make it a grand success. Our webinar has concluded. Thank you.
You know, Alexa is from which batch? Their batch is celebrating 50 years of joining our department. നമുക്കൊന്ന് കൈയടിക്കാം. The last year we celebrated the 50 years of first batch. So this year, I think SNAS should do necessary thing to celebrate
50 years of second batch. I think sir is already planning. We'll have some event. Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, regarding the scheduled celebration of our 50th anniversary, I shall be in touch with your SNAS secretary and other important guys here, especially I'm in very close contact with Mohan Babu sir for each and everything. So I'll be in touch with you. And as what we have planned, we have got 2 days of celebration. One is exclusively for our batch. 17th, we are having a common one. And we plan to have a session in the department on 17th afternoon, December 17th, I mean December 17th afternoon. We'll, out of 14 from our batch, maybe only about 9 or 10 would be attending. And we'll definitely have an interactive session. I mean, like, we will be sharing our experiences. And it's not a big sermon or talk or anything like that. You can discuss with us anything and everything. Even a counseling on your marriage also would be possible, because most of us are grandfathers.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Right.